The universe was an altar with no fire. Brahma sat in the center of the golden lotus, his forehead staring into a black ocean that had no end and no memory. He had hung the stars, but they were lonely fires. He had carved the tides, but the water was dead weight. A world without life is not a kingdom. It is a grave waiting for a name. The progenitor understood his burden. A god may dream a mountain, but he cannot be every stone. He may breathe a wind, but he cannot be every leaf. He needed others. He needed a lineage to carry the law into the corners of the dark. Without them, his creation was a hollow temple, beautiful, still, and perfectly useless. The air in the void smelled of cold iron and unformed dust. There was no scent of rain or soil, for no one had yet walked the earth to smell them. Brahma felt the weight of the vacuum. It was a silence that did not just exist. It mocked him. He reached into the deepest well of his own mind. He did not reach for the mud of the ocean or the heat of the stars. He wanted something untainted. He wanted sons born from the peak of his meditation, beings who would be pure, unmoving, and eternal. He closed his 8 eyes and thought of the highest truth. From the brow of the Creator, 4 forms shimmered into the light. They did not arrive with the cry of a newborn. They appeared like 4 lamps lit in a dark room. These were the Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat-Kumara. They were children in form, no older than 5 years, their skin holding the pale, steady glow of a moon that would never set. Brahma looked at the 4 boys and felt a pride that almost broke the silence. They sat in perfect stillness, their tiny hands resting on their knees like carved ivory. They did not hunger. They did not weep. They were exactly what he had envisioned. Thought made flesh, and flesh made divine. In that moment, Brahma believed he had won. He had created the perfect bloodline to populate his universe. "My sons," Brahma said, and his voice was the sound of a mountain shifting. "The void is waiting. The stars are hungry. I have brought you forth to be the fathers of all that will live. You will leave this lotus. You will go into the dark and multiply. You will fill this silence with the breath of 1,000 generations. This is the law." The boys did not move. They did not blink. Brahma waited for the bow. He waited for them to stand and walk into the water to begin the labor of building the world. He watched them for a year, then a century. But the Kumaras were not preparing for the world. They were judging it. Born from the highest part of the progenitor's mind, they saw the entire map of time before they had even taken a breath. They saw the hunger that would drive men to kill. They saw the sickness that would rot the skin. They saw the great work as a web of pain. To them, to create life was not a gift. It was a sacrilege. "Father," Sanaka said. His voice was not the voice of a child. It was the sound of wind over ancient stone. "We have seen the world you would build. It is a house of glass. We refuse to enter it." Brahma's 4 heads turned. The light in the lotus began to dim. "You do not understand your own nature," he replied, his tone grave. "You exist to seed the void. You were born to be the root. We will not be the root of a harvest that only yields sorrow," the second son, Sanatana, added. "You ask us to create life so that life may want. You want us to fill the void with hunger and death. We choose the silence of the soul over the shame of the flesh." Their truth offered no warmth. Brahma had made them too pure. He had given them minds of absolute clarity, and they were using that clarity to reject the very purpose of their birth. "I am the Lord of this world." Brahma's voice grew harsh, like iron scraping against iron. "I did not ask for your judgment. I gave a command. The Father is the law. You will go forth. you will multiply." The four boys looked at him with a terrifying, holy pity. They saw that their father was a prisoner of his own pride, trapped by his need to be a master.
"We will remain as we are," Sanat-Kumara whispered. "Monks in the bodies of children. We will never age. We will never marry. We will never touch the mud of your world. We choose the light within over the dark without." They closed their eyes. The air around them grew cold, as if the sun had been snuffed out. They entered a trance so deep their heartbeats vanished. They became four unmoving stones, beautiful and useless, sitting on the petals of the world's first flower. Brahma stood over them, his four faces shadowed with a darkening red. He felt a sensation like a thorn in his heart, the shame of a god who has been disobeyed. He was the lord of creatures, and he could not make four children stand up. His words fell like dead birds upon the water. The cosmic order began to fray before it was woven. If his first and best sons refused to walk, the tides would never turn. The sun would never rise. The unspooling of the world was stalling because the first souls had chosen to die before they had lived. Brahma felt a heat rising from his gut. Not the warmth of creation, but a sharp acidic fire. It moved up his spine, through his neck, and into his four minds. His skin, once the color of gold, began to flush with a deep, bruised purple. His four brows knit together into jagged lines. The air in the lotus began to smell of ozone and ash. He tried to remain the calm master, but the pity in the boy's eyes was a wound that would not close. He had made them perfect, and in doing so, he had made them his superiors. They were free, and he was the one who was bound to the void, bound to a legacy that his own children found worthless. The frustration curdled. It turned from a thought into a physical weight. It felt like a stone in his throat, a poison in his blood. He looked at the four silent boys, and for the first time, the creator of the world felt the urge to burn what he had made. The end came in the space between two breaths. Brahma's anger was no longer a mental struggle. It was a fire that could not be held. His divine body felt as though it were being scorched from within. A single bead of sweat, hot as molten lead, rolled down his central face. The golden lotus began to shake. The black water of the ocean, still for an eternity, began to boil. The Kumaras did not move. They remained in their frozen peace even as their father's world cracked around them. Brahma's eyes turned into pits of burning coal. He opened his four mouths to speak one last command, but the words were gone. The fury had choked the language out of him. Between his eyebrows, the skin began to tear. A crevice opened, glowing with a light that was not golden, but a terrifying bloody red. The silence was over. A sound rose from that crevice. A sound the universe had never heard. It was not a word. It was a howl. It was the sound of every betrayal and every moment of loneliness that would ever exist, all packed into a single shattering vibration. Brahma had tried to fill the void with order and light, but the first thing he truly gave birth to was a scream. From the center of his forehead, a figure crawled out into the light. It was blue-skinned, wild-haired, and half-mad with the pain of its own birth. It was the fury of a god made flesh. The progenitor had reached his limit, and the price of his anger was the birth of the destroyer. Brahma wanted sons to build his world. Instead, he got children who preferred the dark, and a rage that took a life of its own. The silence of the Kumaras has been broken by a cry that will never end. The blue god has arrived, and he does not want to meditate. He wants to weep, and he wants to burn. If you want to see what happens when the Creator's anger finds a name, subscribe to witness the storm. The destroyer has just opened his eyes. Do not let the fire go out.